Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast. The Colt Podcast is real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by Dan Hertzler. What's up, Dan?
Not too much, not too much. Unfortunately, though, we got to talk about something that is a little sore subject with a lot of Colts fans because this is one of their favorite players of the last few years, but he just isn't really performing very well. We've been talking a lot about injuries. Now we're wondering about performance. A lot of questions out there about Shaq Leonard. Josh, what's your take?
Yeah, man, Shaq Leonard has been such like the heartbeat of the Colts defense when healthy the last, couple of years in Indianapolis. Obviously last year he missed pretty much all year with pretty significant
Yeah.
injury. This year he's back. I know Jim Irsay kind of made some, how should I say this, kind of strange comments about Shaq Leonard before the season started. Kind of like, hey, we'll see, which Jim Irsay kind of known for making weird comments, I guess. But that tipped me off like, okay, this isn't a guarantee that he'll ever be the same. Uh, he just has not made the splash plays this year. And then Gus Bradley comes out this week and he says, hey, he's on a pitch count. We're hoping he'll be back kind of to his normal reps until November. Now the practice report comes out today that he's got a groin injury. He didn't even practice today.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Dan. I don't know.
it's just man, I don't know what it is about this organization that just the stuff with the injuries. It's like we never really get the full truth. Now again, we're back here with Shaq Leonard after last season, same thing, off season. One point you talked about retirement. There's been so much smoke with him over the last 18 months or so that at some point we just kind of got to acknowledge there might be real fire here. This might be the end of his playing at least career in Indianapolis. I know that I mentioned it beginning of the season
There you
kind of
go.
as a kind of like a cold, not a cold take, but like a hot take, kind of threw it out there. But we don't want to say that we were right because this is sad for us. I mean, this is a player that has meant a lot to this organization, and whenever you see a guy like this that has given so much and just starting to tail off, not be the same, it's a hard breakup. But I think as Colts fans, we got to get prepared for this. I think this is going to be a hard breakup. I think this is the last year that Shaq Leonard really will be with the Colts. He's just going to cost too much, and he's just not performing right now. And whether it's injuries or whether it's just the game has caught up to him, it's not a good sign right now for Shaq Leonard.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I know his contract goes until the end of 2026, but the Colts have a potential out in his
Yeah,
contract this offseason. I think they would eat about dead $8 million in dead cap.
yeah,
But the truth
yeah,
is, if there was a season where he would go, I mean, I guess it would be this season right at the end. And it's
yeah,
interesting because we've seen kind of Zaire Franklin take
yeah,
over as the Colts defensive kind of captain and the leader of this defense,
yeah,
and Buckner doing the same thing, and Shaq's
yeah,
kind of he's just been a shadow of himself, not only in terms of making those splash plays, but
yeah,
also he doesn't seem like the maniac, the persona he
no,
had. It's just gone.
yeah.
Is there any?
Yeah, even if you think about EJ Speed as well as too,
Yeah.
taking some of his snaps and I really can't remember. I mean, can you off the top of your head even remember the last big play that Shaq Leonard made? I can't even remember when it was.
Yeah. Me either, honestly. I know I know he's one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL, and the fact that he's just not seeing the field, it's an issue.
Yeah,
It's just an issue.
yeah,
How I know, I mean, we're realistic and we try to shoot things straight, and we're fans at
yeah,
the end of the day. And if you like people who are honest about difficult situations, and we're not just going to
yeah,
fanboy out, subscribe to our channel. And if you disagree with us, still subscribe and tell us why we're wrong. But the truth is, how can they figure this out? Like, what is there any way you could see Shaq Leonard, who's 28 years old right now, getting healthy and being a high performer or being 7/10 of what he was? Is there any shot that that could happen?
Well, I think the best route they have, and kind of what I think was what they're saying, is they're going to put him on this snap count. So if he is hurt or if he has lost a step, at least give him as many or not as many opportunities to show that. Give him hey, say you're going to be out there 20, 25 snaps. Give it all you got. Give everything you've got for those 20, 25 snaps. And maybe out of that, you get, a few plays or you get something out of him there. But to me, the bottom line in this is we got to recognize two things at the same time. One is he was a great player for the Colts, someone that we can cheer on, someone that we can be supportive of, and the game has just caught up to him, and he's just not worth the contract. And so I think that's where this is heading. The rest of this season, I think we just have to really lower expectations to say he's going to be a spot player. He's going to be a player that's been surpassed by two other linebackers. And if he can give us anything this year, then we'll take whatever he can give us. But we cannot count on Shaq Leonard being that defensive player that we're used to.
Well, he did have back surgery. There were some nerve issues. Whenever you look at that, it's not like a wrist or something. I mean, you're talking pretty serious stuff. I know he's had a few concussions as well. Just the play style with the reckless abandon, it just seems like it's gone.
Yeah.
I certainly hope, as a fan, and I like the way how he plays the game. I like how the spark he has to the defense. Obviously, I love him as a person. He seems like a great guy. But man, when you add it all together and you say, hey, a linebacker's a pretty darn physical position, and this guy's coming off some pretty significant surgeries, and here he is now in November. They're saying they hope to have him kind of back full snaps in November. That's not boding well. That's just not, and it's sad. It is sad.
Yeah, it's like you said though. I mean, it's the kind of the nature of the beast. It's the same thing we say about JT and the contract situation. We wish he could get paid all the money he wants to get paid, but that's not the way the NFL works. We wish Shaq Leonard could play around until he's ready to, but his body just might not be able to carry him like it used to, and you lose a step as a linebacker trying to cover and be a run stopper. It's tough. And so all those things might be true at the same time. And again, we just want to be as realistic as possible. You can love a guy, you can cheer a guy on, but also acknowledge, I think we've seen the best days, and at best we can get a few quality snaps out of him every game. Then let's hope for that.
So we're not too early. You don't think we're too early on this?
No. And again, like you said, he's too high paid to bring back. And so this is, we should get ready for the end. And kind of celebrate for who he was, because he's not going to be a Colt, I think, much past this season.
Yeah, I think it had to take a pretty significant turnaround. And the truth is, Gus Bradley's defense kind of funnels more towards Zaire Franklin's position. I know Matt Eberflus had a different defensive style a little bit there. So between Shaq's just health and kind of what the defense is now, it's just not quite boding well, I think, for Shaq's future in Indianapolis. And what's wrong with Shaq? I think injuries, defensive scheme, all of it's kind of adding to one where I think that, like you said, the time's coming to an end. Probably after this season again, and it makes the most sense because they have an out. If you go on a great website to look at, Sporadic, they break out all the cap space for all the players, and you could take a look at it. I mean, their out is after this season ends. If not, then probably going to have 3 more years of Shaq Leonard, which I just don't see happening. Yeah. So we appreciate you guys watching our show. I know kind of a somber episode, but we try to shoot it straight either way. And if you like honesty, then you'll like our show. We appreciate you watching. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and until next time, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.